we get countless testimonials from people that tell us about all of the benefits that they've received. You need nutrient density. Lemon juice and alkaline water isn't going to cut it. Your health is your wealth. You're not going to have to face a lot of these conditions, that are just so horrible and play havoc with our lives and our health. I was a single mother. My husband had passed away. His dad was a bodybuilder. He was Mr. America, Mr. Southern California. So we were a really healthy family. And here we have this obese son. But I knew because of everything that I studied that his pH was off. And when your pH is off and your body becomes too acidic, you're susceptible to many things.
Nice to see you. Nice to meet you finally.
Yeah, likewise.
I have read and heard so many good things about you.
Oh, thank you so much. I so appreciate you having us on the show. JR tells me that you use our products, our superfoods.
Everything.
Everything. Okay.
You guys have sent me a beautiful care package, so I have gotten into it all.
I love it. I love it. I love your energy. I love your vitality, and that, you motivate people with that.
Thank you so much.
And that's what, we don't need to age so quickly. I'm preaching to the choir. You know that.
Well, the people watching don't know that. I think that's our goal, right? It's to inspire them to continue to tap into their fountain of youth. And then there's ways to do that, if you optimize with the right products and right habits in your lifestyle.
Absolutely. And, there's even, the epigenetics, which our mind affects our health. And
100%.
we have to be so conscious of that, because we can say, oh, I feel bad and everything hurts me and blah, 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 and I'm getting old. Why?
Yeah, right? That's exactly right. I was doing a video yesterday. It's like, if you could eat the right way, you could train the right way, but if you can't control your mind, which controls your cortisol levels and controls your stress, all of the eating and training are useless, right? Because that becomes a byproduct of how your body responds. And a lot of it comes down to the way that we think and the way that we have self-talk. And so part of, I'm too old, or I missed my window of opportunity is a lot of with guys that I deal with from a client side have heard or told and start to believe. And so that's our job, is to kind of educate them as to know where we can constantly, as I like to say, Benjamin Button it and tap into resources and habits that can keep us young.
I love that. It is all about our belief, and belief is so primary. We have to just keep that, youthful spirit. We are not our age. We're not our chronological age. We're our biological age.
That's right.
And that's what I want. I'm so excited to talk to you about, because I think one of the things that I want to share on your show is the pH balance. And I don't think enough people know about it, and what it is and how it works. And, if your pH balance is not balanced, your body's not going to function as well as it could.
That's right. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll lead you into those questions so that you can, one, kind of give us who you are, kind of what you did to kind of create the company and why you did it. And then we'll talk.
Who am I?
Yeah. We'll talk about how some of the important underlying factors of the product impact our health and our ability to stay youthful, stay young, burn fat, build muscle. All of that is super important. And one of the things that I bring to my clients, the first thing I bring to them is a morning protocol drink, which I'll get into. But I'll give you a proper intro, and then we'll kind of get into it. Okay?
Oh, great. Just one last question. Is JR going to be on the show?
I don't know. I think I was uncertain. I didn't know if he was going to be on, and then he said he would be on. Let me see. Well, I flipped.
Oh, maybe he'll do a little cameo.
If he pops in, well, it'll be a great surprise. All right. So today's show on Flip the Switch, we have Sylvia Ortiz, who is one of the founders, the founder of MacroLife Naturals, which is a product that I have used as a staple and pillar in my life for almost 2 years. Every single morning, it's the first thing that I consume. It's a morning protocol drink, and it has really helped me heal some ailments that I had from an acidic standpoint, and that acidity was causing chaos in my entire body, wreaking havoc on my system. And I knew I had to change a lot of things, and one of those things was the things that I decided to put in my body. And I could not solve this problem for a very long time, and then I discovered their product Micro Reds and their Micro Greens. And that product changed my life, and it's been a staple in my day, in my routine, and now it's a staple in all of my clients' morning. They're not always grateful at first, but once they realize all the health benefits, they tend to get used to how this product can change their life and their immunity. So Sylvia is the founder, she is the creator of this product, and the reason we have her on is because she decided to take a different path. She had some issues with her son as he was growing up, and they were unable to solve it with traditional medicines. So she went out as a health enthusiast and put together some different concoctions and different products and realized, hey, what if we blended this down to a powder and created an incredible product? And that was 20, almost 30 years ago, right?
They do call me the pioneer
Of the microgreen space, yeah.
Yes, and you know what that means, right?
You're young.
There you go. And we grew up from being micro to macro. So we're macro greens and miracle reds. We have macro and micronutrients in the formulas.
Yeah. So I want to give you a chance to kind of tell us, how did you come up with the company, right? Where were you in your stage of life, and what was the underlying factor that made you create the initial product that launched this company that has been super successful over the last 25, 30 years?
Well, I was a single mother. My husband had passed away, JR's dad, my son's father, and I'd always been in the health space. Does anybody remember the little mini trampolines?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? I did. And I don't have any pictures of the videos of Stay Fit Rebounding, Get Fit Rebounding,
yes.
Rebounding. Yeah, kind of like the Jane Fonda movement. And but in my course of all of that, I studied nutrition heavily, and I worked with Hippocrates Institute, which is down in Rocabaton, Florida. And I worked with the founders and even had the pleasure of meeting Ann Wigmore, who in 1963 was known as the mother of vitamins, because in 1963 she was all about enzymes, all about vitamins and nutritional health and live foods. And come on, guys. I mean, that's what, almost 50 years ago. So I had the pleasure of meeting her, and I got to learn all about the importance of alkalizing your system, and what happens if your pH is not balanced, your body will not function correctly. And so what they were doing back then was they were curing all forms of cancer and AIDS. AIDS was very prevalent at the time. And they were curing it with live foods. And on top of it, I had a 14-year-old son who was ranked in the state of California for tennis. And he looked more like a football player than a tennis player. He was 65 pounds overweight.
Yeah.
I couldn't understand because I was cooking very healthy. His dad was, a bodybuilder. He was Mr. America, Mr. Southern California.
Oh, wow.
So we were a really healthy family, and here we have this obese son. And he wasn't a couch potato, but I knew because of everything that I studied that his pH was off. And when your pH is off and your body becomes too acidic, you're susceptible to many things, including uncontrollable food cravings, because Acid begets acid. If your body's acidic, you're going to crave sugars, fats, carbohydrates, salts, and extra protein. And I knew that that was what was happening to him because he was exercising so much and sweating so much that he was losing essential vitamins and minerals. He was shifting into an acidic state. And how do you become acidic? Diet.
Yep.
Unless you're eating primarily 80% or 90% vegetables and fruits, some legumes, reducing your carbs and reducing your protein, you're going to be acidic. And the other is exercise. Lactic acid. We produce lactic acid when we exercise. So exercise is good for us, but it produces acidity. Going long periods of time in between meals produces acidity. That's why I'm not a real big fan of the
Fasting.
The fasting and intermittent fasting. I think you need to keep your blood sugar stable as much as possible, and protein does that. And then, how about stress? Does anybody ever have any stress in their life? So stress is very acid forming, and unfortunately, when our bodies were designed to be slightly alkaline. Unfortunately, almost our lifestyle is very acid producing, and when our bodies are in a constant acidic state, that's when the cancer can happen. That's when the diabetes, blood sugar is hard to control, the cravings go off the chart. You set yourself up for all of these diseases. So it's very important that you become more alkaline. And like I mentioned, 80% of your diet should be from vegetables and fruits. And I like to give the example of a clock.
Okay.
If you have a clock and you cut that clock in half, and half of your clock is your vegetables, and then the other quarter is your protein, and then the other is your carbohydrate. You'll usually be in the zone, and that's sustainable for people. And that's the hard thing, is that a lot of people go on keto diets and all of these other diets, and they're not sustainable. So they go on binges. Right. And that just screws with their diet, screws with their head, everything.
And their pH becomes unbalanced.
Very unbalanced. They're on a yo-yo. So for JR, who was 65 pounds overweight, I created this green drink because at the time I was eating at least 40 to 50 tablets and capsules. I was juicing my own wheatgrass. I was doing all of that, and I thought, no one is going to be able to sustain this. And at that time, it was costing about $200, $300 a month.
To get all those vitamins and, run that protocol.
Yes. And I decided, I need to help my son. So I met with Dr. Ed Wagner, who's a nutritional healer. He's a holistic chiropractor. He can actually heal people with food. And I knew he was the right one. I had worked with him for many, many years. We've worked together for almost 40 years now. And I said, Ed, I'd like to make a greens formula. And he said, that's a good idea. And I said, why? And he said, because many of the greens that are on the market, and there were only two others in 1998, I put my patients on them. They get allergies, they get reactions, they get a heavy detox, and they don't like the grassy taste. And I said, oh, my experience as well. So we set into researching all the different cereal grasses, and we found that the barley grass was far superior to wheat, alfalfa, kamut, or any of the other grasses. It was the least allergenic, the highest in nutritional density when compared to the others, the highest in pH, and sweet, not grassy tasting. So it checked all the boxes
What a
for
miracle.
us. And then we were both just very, very choosy about the 38 additional ingredients that we added to the macro greens, the probiotics, the various support ingredients that support your endocrine system, your adrenal system, your liver, your kidneys, the antioxidants that we chose, etc. And I can go on and on and on, but I want to hear questions.
Yeah. So now you go out, you research, you recognize, okay, these are the staples that we want to kind of build a product around. You create the product. How do you incorporate it into JR's life to where it makes an impact or actually starts to change him from an obese kid to now that weight starts coming off? Like, what was that process like?
Exactly. So every morning I would make a large pitcher. I'd put 5 scoops of the greens in it, a little bit of apple juice. Everyone, a little sugar helps the medicine go down.
For a kid, it helps.
And stir it up and leave it in a big jug. He'd drink a glass of it before he went to school. He'd drink a glass of it when he got home. And then he'd drink a glass after dinner. And within 6 months, he lost 65 pounds. He went from 165 pounds and 33% body fat to 165, 230 pounds to 165
Wow.
pounds. And his body fat hovered around 11%.
Wow.
So he regained, it was able to control his food cravings. He was able to stay on a healthy diet.
Stabilize his blood sugar levels.
Exactly. And I knew I had a winner because his tennis team would come over in the afternoon and they'd say, "Miss Ortiz, do you have any of that green juice?"
So the kid even liked the taste. That's incredible. So I guess the science behind that would be by consuming that multiple times a day, you were constantly bringing his pH, raising the level of his pH in his body, reducing the acidity, and then the activity that he was having naturally as a kid with tennis, coupled with a fairly healthier diet, allowed his body to then burn off that fat, right? Because when your body is in an acidic state, there's inflammation going on, and when you have the inflammation, you can't burn fat or build muscle. It's really just a chaotic environment, right?
Very well said. Absolutely, that's exactly what happened. And like I said, that all transpired in the span of 6 months. I mean, it was just miraculous, how his body responded and how, we get countless testimonials from people that tell us about all of the benefits that they've received, their increased energy, their sorry, my windows are open. So I thought I had a studio environment.
It's all right. Shut the car.
Yeah, so, it's just when you feed your body what it needs, it responds. Our bodies are self-healing. And, the macro greens contains 18 billion probiotics. It's got A to Z plant-based vitamins and minerals and amino acid complex. It's a very rich alkaline formula. It helps people reach their 5 servings of fruits and vegetables, boosts energy. It helps support natural weight loss. And for women, okay, and
we
men,
have women clients too and watchers, so tell us what's the benefit for them.
barley grass is a natural collagen precursor. What does that mean? That means it's not collagen, but it helps your body make collagen. And when your body's making collagen, your hair, your skin, and everything responds beautifully to it, and you age
Mm-hmm.
gracefully.
I,
And I know you're such a gentleman, you'll never ask me my age.
it would be super impressive if the audience knew because they would probably guess you're much younger than you are. So yeah, it's it's a testament to the product and your lifestyle. Like I remember the Jane Fonda days, and I remember a friend of mine, his mom was in it. She had the bouncers, she had the like she was a reseller of all the vitamins, and I was like, what is your mom doing with all these vitamins? And she lived that lifestyle, you know. I was exposed to a woman in my friend circle that lived that. So when JR told me that you know that was you were the Jane Fonda, I was like, oh, I could actually picture it because I remember a friend of mine, Nick, his mother was involved in that, and I was like, yeah, I remember that stage of life. Like '85, I was like 7 or 8, and I remembered that. It was like the movement. So going back to that, right? So JR now loses this weight. Being his mother, one, it must have felt incredible because now your son is in a much better place. But how did it impact him? Like his confidence level, his energy level, like his ability to now be like, I'm not the overweight kid anymore.
I wish I had the pictures to show you. I mean, he was so depressed, he was so downtrodden, because he was
Yeah,
embarrassed. He had two living examples. One was a video
yeah,
queen, exercise queen, and the other was
bodybuilder.
a nationally ranked, a professional bodybuilder. And I know, it just really messed with his psyche. And in fact, when I made the macro greens, I came to him and I said, listen, JR, I'm going to make a greens that's going to help feed your body, give your body everything that it needs. It's going to pick up your energy. And he had seen me drinking my greens and swallowing, my handfuls of vitamins. And he said, well, that sounds good, Mom, but if it doesn't taste good, I'm not going to drink it.
Yeah,
And one of the things that I did mention is because I needed to do it as gently as possible, is it might help you lose a pound or two. And so
he wanted that more.
he really did want
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
that's super impressive, and it's motherly. I can tell you from my own experience, I came through my journey of the insecurities and feeling overweight and exercising consistently, but no matter what I did, if I drank water after every meal, I was just my whole body had acid reflux. It was just here, and it was all the time for years. I dealt with it, and I tried everything, and then a friend of mine recommended, who was a cancer patient, recommended baking soda. A tablespoon of baking soda and take that, and I'm drinking that, and it's just god awful 3 times a day, and it would come up, but it was like a short-term band-aid. It wasn't fixing the problem, and I started buying alkaline water. I invested in a machine, and I started trying to do all these things and pulling things out of my diet because it was so painful, and I was exercising pretty regularly, pretty hard, 60 minutes a day, but my body was not changing. And I try to express to guys now, it's the little things as we age. It's not macro changes. It really is these micro little adjustments. And this was one of the things that I had implemented in my day to start my day because somebody had, through research, and somebody had told me, we wake up in our highest acidic state. That's when our body has the most acid. So I realized, okay, well, if I start implementing this and I can get my pH level raised and elevated, then I give myself a better chance of success. And now if I'm smart with meal number one, and I've taken out some things that I believe were causing this, like sugar, milk chocolate, especially at night, like ice cream, oily things, fried foods, like these things really became unbearable to eat, even though I loved eating them. And so as I started to implement this, within a month or two, I didn't notice, but I'm like, it's gone. The acid reflux is no longer there. I'm not like suffering from this anymore. And I haven't had it for 2 years since I've been on this protocol. And the second thing that I've noticed is my immunity has been rock solid. I have not gotten sick in over 2 years since taking this protocol. And the micro reds or the macro greens, I rotate between which one I do in the morning because I have both of them. And my kids, I've got younger kids, and up until that point, between always being acidic and them coming home from school, every 3 months I was sick. Almost always. I got everything that they got. And then I realized it's because I was in a highly acidic state. I was subjecting myself to a lower immunity, and my body was prone to catch every sort of virus that was out there. So it's not just about like the losing weight, but it's also the stronger immunity and giving yourself the ability to play from, not from your heels all day, but from your being on your toes. And that was the power that I recognized of implementing this. And then the third thing was I started to feel like I looked younger. My skin was more vibrant. My hair was growing healthier. I mean, when guys tell me like, oh, he's wearing a wig, I'm like, oh, that's a great compliment. You know? I'm like, no, it's actually the micro reds, but thank you for the compliment. Or the backhanded insult. And so and people will ask me, how do you still have strong hair? And I literally will attribute it to the morning protocol drink. So I know that those are some of the benefits. No,
You're absolutely right about us being more acidic first thing in the morning. I'm sorry
no,
to
no, I
repeat
wanted
you.
to leave it to you and maybe comment on that.
We are more, and lemon juice. I always have a squeeze of a half a lemon in my water every
Mm-hmm.
morning because that immediately alkalizes your
Yes.
system. However, you need nutrient
Yep.
density. Lemon juice and alkaline water isn't going to
No.
cut it. I mean, it's good. I wouldn't toss it out but uh, you need nutrient density. And I never get sick. I mean, it is so rare. Sometimes I wish I would because I need a day off, but I just take. Um, if you have your immune defense and your immunity is there, you're not going to get sick. You're not going to have to face a lot of these
Yeah.
conditions, that are just so horrible and play havoc with our lives and our health and I mean, your health is your wealth.
100%.
Yeah, you lose your health, you lose your
Mm-hmm.
wealth just trying to regain
Yeah.
it. So I wanted to just to make it simple, and I remember way back in the day when I was just working on getting distribution for macro greens, and I would go to the different distributors, and I would show them my bottle of macro greens, and they'd say, Sylvia, you only have one SKU.
That was it.
And I would laugh and I'd say, well, that's all the person
Yeah.
needs. Got everything in there. You literally would have to take 50 to 60 vitamins and capsules every day to get what is in a container of macro greens. And the way that we do it is not just a sprinkle so that we can make a label claim. They're efficacious amounts that truly do make a difference in your health and do support your
Mm.
health.
Who do you think is your biggest competitor? Because I know before I found you guys, I had been recommended Athletic Greens, and I know that's a popular brand now. I know the difference, but maybe you could explain to the viewers what's the difference between your brand and your product versus the Athletic Greens product.
Ours is efficacious. Ours is quality. All is premium ingredients. All of the milligrams and micrograms that are in the formula are in valid amounts that actually support
Mm-hmm.
health. Many of these others, the AG, I like to say we are the OG to AG1.
Well said.
And
You are the OG.
yeah, we are the OG and proud of it. It's a legacy trusted brand that has worked for 26 years, and we haven't changed the formula and we won't change the formula. We might make an essentials that might be less expensive, but we'll never change the original formula because it works and it just does miracles in people's health. Um, You know, I think I kind of said it all as far as our
Yeah.
competitors. There are a couple good ones, and they're you know, they're also, you know, one of the originals with us. Green Vibrance is a good one. That if I wasn't making my own, I would take. The only problem is it has wheatgrass, which is, you know, causes a heavy detox. It's very much more grassy
Yeah.
tasting. You need gentle cleansing on a daily basis. Nobody needs industrial cleansing every day. And uh, the only thing with the only thing that bothers me about Green Vibrance, if I may say, is that they like to claim 25 billion probiotics. Well, guess what, folks? That is in a scoop that is close to 13
Okay.
grams. So it's a large scoop. Our scoop is 9.4 grams, much smaller. If you were to put our scoop in a 13-gram scoop, we would surpass 25 billion probiotics. But because we are in a 9.4 scoop, the equivalent is 18 billion. But make no mistake, the probiotics are there and they're viable, and we chose probiotics that can make it through the gut acid barrier so that they can get into the lower gut and feed the healthy bacteria and keep the bad bacteria in check and feed your microbiome.
So great. So can you tell me the two core products that you have, the macro greens and the micro reds? What are the top 2 or 3 benefits for the macro greens, and then also you eventually came out with the micro reds? What are the top core benefits there?
Well, think of macro greens as your multivitamin on steroids. It's a multivitamin times 10. I mean, like I said, it's got 18 billion probiotics in every scoop, plant-based vitamins, minerals, amino acids, all plant-based. We never use synthetic vitamins. Even the vitamin E is a tocopherol, alpha tocopherol, which is a homeopathic vitamin E. The vitamin C that we use it comes from orange peels. It comes from acerola berry. We have to use so much acerola berry to be able to claim 400 milligrams of vitamin C.
Oh.
And the best way I can describe it is the whole is far greater than the sum of its parts. For example, when you take vitamin C out of an orange, your body recognizes it as a whole food. It's got the bioflavonoids, it's got the chaperones, the enzymes, and everything so that your body can absorb the vitamin C. But if you're using ascorbic acid, which many of our competitors use, first of all, your body doesn't even recognize it. So now you are getting the whole vitamin C in its richest form. The green supports immunity, multiple system support, your liver, your kidney, your endocrine system, your thyroid, and it's absolutely delicious. Miracle Reds is a 7-in-1 formula. It's our cholesterol lowering antioxidant formula. It has 19 antioxidant rich superfruits and berries. That is your goji berry, your mangosteen, your acai berry for the exotics, organic raspberries, organic blueberries, elderberries, apricots, papaya. It's got 19 of them. And what they do is they provide a full spectrum of antioxidants. You want to think of antioxidants this way. You wouldn't just take one type of a multivitamin. You wouldn't just take vitamin E or vitamin C. You take a multi. the same thing. You want a full spectrum of antioxidants because different antioxidants diffuse different free radicals, and you need that. And what they do is antioxidants are like rust on your cells.
Okay.
And what they do, what antioxidants do, is they protect and they remove that rust or those free radicals from your cells, so that they don't, the free radicals don't damage your cells. And picture this: if you cut an apple in half and you leave it on the counter, what happens?
It rots. It's brown.
It turns brown. Exactly. Okay. What happens if you put a little lemon juice on it?
Stays fresh.
It doesn't turn brown.
Same thing with
Why?
avocado,
because lemon juice,
right?
lemon juice is an antioxidant.
Ah.
Aha. Okay, so that's what happens to your cells. The Miracle Reds is a full spectrum antioxidant formula, and it protects your cells from free radical damage. And that's what keeps your cells healthy and rejuvenates your cells. It also, just to bump it up a little, we added 670 milligrams of cholesterol-lowering plant sterols. And plant sterols helps to usher out the cholesterol from your body. So if you've got any kind of issues with cholesterol, this will help lower the your cholesterol levels.
Nice, which a lot of men have. High cholesterol.
Yeah, a lot of people have issues with cholesterol. We added the probiotics in it as well, and then we added the inflammation reducers that help with joint mobility from the turmeric, the bromelain, the aloe vera, the nopal cactus. So there you have it, and and believe me, it's uber delicious. It's got this great berry taste.
Do you use sucralose in it?
No. I use a tiny bit of stevia and organic flavors. JR and I, we are gourmet chefs. We love cooking, and everything has to taste just absolutely delicious. So
I love that.
when we make a formula, we have to make sure that it tastes great because we want to drink it.
I agree. It does taste great. I drink it every day. It doesn't have sucralose. I know the answer to that. And I enjoy it. I really do enjoy it. I tell clients, like, once you understand the health benefits of it, and I put it with a little bit of warm water, and it's become like my tea. Has become my alcohol drink at night. I gave up alcohol. I started switching. The temptation for alcohol between 5 and 7 was replaced for one of these drinks. So I'll tell you in a second how I do it. But how do you suggest? Do people take one a day? Do they take both of these a day? And if and when should they be taking them? Between the reds and the greens.
It's whatever works for you best. For me, there's not a day goes by that I don't drink my greens. I like to drink my greens. I used to drink it first thing in the morning with warm water. And then I would put a frozen banana in it,
nice.
and I would drink it like a warm tea. It's delicious. And then I segued into where I drink it soon, an hour or two after breakfast, before lunch. I make a big glass of it. I pour about an ounce of apple juice, a couple scoops of the macro greens in it, stir it real well, add some water, add some ice cubes and a straw, and I sip on it. And then in the afternoon, around 4 or 5 o'clock, when you get that afternoon slump, or after working out, that's when I drink the reds. And that just keeps me from, going for a cup of coffee and a muffin or some quick fix.
I love that. I do. So the way that I do it is the first thing in the morning I do the protocol drink, and my protocol drink is 4 ounces of warm water with the macro greens. I do a lemon and I add some aloe vera to it. I put a little bit of glutamine in there. and I'll add apple cider vinegar, and that's my concoction, and that's been kind of my go-to every morning. And then every evening before my last meal, I'll do the reds, 4 ounces of warm water. I'll do the reds with a little bit of apple cider vinegar, and that really kills any cravings that I have for sugar or alcohol. I look forward to that drink. So as I'm preparing that dinner, it's usually after a workout, I'll have the reds, and both of them are, like, I look forward to both of them. I tell clients, I can't understand how some clients are like, it's just a difference, like from beer, alcohol, or wine to make the switch over. But I tell them, if you can get through the first week or two and you start seeing how your energy changes, how your skin becomes a little bit more vibrant, like you start to then really look forward to those drinks. And I make them every night, every day. Both. That's how I incorporate it in my lifestyle. So I do the greens in the morning, and then the reds generally at night.
Oh, that's excellent. And, that's really good advice. I love your recipes. I'm going to try them. This sounds like Buzz Juice. And absolutely, folks, once you start feeling better, you start feeling good, there's no turning back. You don't want to, it's not worth it. I mean, look, I'm all about 80, 90%. I am, doing all the right things and everything that you need to do, which is, your exercise, eating right, your spiritual connection, limiting environmental pollution, etc. But then there's that 10%, we are of the world, and you can go, and have a good time.
Totally agree. If you're at least 80% compliant with a good healthy diet and putting the right things in your body, you leave the room to have those other enjoyments or those indulgences, right? But if you're 80% indulgent and only in trying to do the right things 20% of the time, as I like to say, the vitamins and the minerals aren't really getting absorbed. You're just changing your pee color, right? If you're not living the lifestyle, you're not really getting the absorption that you need from all the supplements you're putting in. But if you align yourself right to the right nutrition, the right training, and then the right supplementation with some superfoods, miracles do really happen. And my goal with guys in my program, I always say, if I can just get you to adhere for at least 80% for the first 2 weeks, the weight's going to come off, the energy's going to go up, the attitude's going to get better. Then you will actually become a believer. And once guys kind of make that connection that these habits tie to this outcome, they then become more interested in the lifestyle. And it's really that, it's always this miracle that always happens with them within the first 2 to 4 weeks, right? The more compliant they get, the better results they see, the better they feel, the more they become kind of reliant on that habit. It's like, okay, now it's instilled. Now I feel off if I don't have it. And so, I think that's a really good segue into like why it's the benefits are tremendous, but it's also these little guardrails that adults can put in their life of, okay, this is the time to implement this. And if you're conscious around, hey, I'm going to put this macro green into my body, then that's going to allow me to be more conscious throughout the day with the other things that go in my body, right? And it just becomes somebody that becomes more of a conscious being. And that generally helps people make healthier decisions and better decisions for their health. That's I think is a big piece of how your product has changed my life, for sure.
Well, thank you. Yes, absolutely. Not only yours, but it's just countless. We get just so many testimonials and people, telling us their stories and how they've been able to regain their health and or even improve their health. They were already healthy, but they got healthier. Yes. And that's what makes us, so happy about what we do. We love being of service and providing, quality superfoods.
That was exactly my next question, which was like, what's some of the feedback that you get from customers over the years? Like, how do they respond to this product when they put it in their life outside of my own testimony?
Well, we get people that tell us that their cholesterol dropped dramatically. Mm-hmm. Their doctor's wondering, what are they doing? We have people that have lost small amounts of weight, which, the stubborn 10 pounds that they were trying to lose, and 50, 60 pounds of weight over short periods of time. And we get people that, mothers and parents that tell us that we have a children's formula as well that they started feeding their child, and their child just responded so well. It had skin allergies and even learning disabilities, and they see a measurable improvement.
I mean, that's a huge spectrum of benefits for, yeah, so children can even incorporate this into their life.
Well, we do. We specifically formulated a children's formula, and it's called macro cocoa greens, because in the beginning, we had so many parents asking us, "Can I put this in my baby's bottle? How do I put this in my baby's bottle?" And so we had these elaborate charts that if your child weighed this much, you would give them a quarter teaspoon, and if they weighed, if they were 8 or 9 years old, you gave them a half a teaspoon, and then we just said, well, we're just going to make a kid's formula. So we did, and we made the cocoa greens specifically for kids. I used the Nestle's Quick cocoa formula and their strawberry formula as my benchmarks for the flavor. And the cocoa greens uses many of the ingredients that are in the macro greens.
Nice.
Excuse me. And it provides the alkalinity properties, as well as 3 servings of fruits and vegetables and probiotics, plus trace minerals. And that we've combined with organic cacao, and it's just uber delicious. I think we nailed that taste profile. The reds we created for kids as well, and we used the 19 organic superfruits and berries in it. We didn't put the cholesterol lowering properties in it because it wasn't necessary, but those are the two.
That's great. So that's another product. What are some of the other most popular products that you guys have that the viewers should be aware of?
Well, one of the things that's very important is amino acids and protein for satiety. I always have a problem saying that word. Satiety, and keeping you full. So what we did was we launched the Macro Greens Time Release Protein with a complete amino acid profile. We don't add any synthetic amino acids like many of the other brands do. All of the amino acids are derived from the super quality blend of proteins. And the way that we were able to accomplish a time-released protein is we used a vegan collagen for fast absorption and fast digesting protein, so it gets into your system and makes you full right away. We used a brown rice protein, which is a slower digesting protein, which keeps you full longer. And then we used a pea protein to keep you full even longer. The reason that we made it a vegan protein is because we found that many people are trying to reduce the amount of animal products in their diets, and so however, we wanted to keep the completeness of the amino acid profile, and we were able to accomplish that. So that goes toe to toe with many of the whey proteins that are out there. On top of it, we added the a blend of the macro greens and the miracle reds to it. So you're
So
getting
much.
your meat and potatoes, so to speak, along with your fruits and
That's
vegetables.
great. And where can they find the products?
Well, I'm so glad you asked. Right now, if you go on Amazon, definitely you can go to our
Yep.
website, macrolifenaturals.com. And if you go to our if you go to Amazon, right now for the first 100, you can get a free week supply of the macro greens with any
Oh,
order.
wow.
Yeah. And if you order the Miracle Reds, you can get a free trial of the macro greens. If you order the macro greens, you can get a free trial of the macro greens. If you order the macro meal, you can get a free trial of the macro greens with anything that you order on our Amazon
That's
site.
amazing. And then you're also in brick and mortar um, shop, vitamin shop, I believe you're in as well, right? For the macro greens and the micro reds?
Yes, we're proud to be in Vitamin Shop. We've been in Vitamin Shop for over 16 years, and many of the brick and mortars, your Lassens, many of the independent stores carry. We're in about 5,000 doors across the
Wow.
country. Yeah.
And JR is running the company. He's your son. He's been the transformation story that started all this, right? Um,
Uh,
yeah. And so, what's next for you guys? What's the next 5 years have in store?
well, I'm going to continue to create as much visibility as I can. I want to be out there more, and I want to, help people to show people how they can, live a dynamic, healthy life, and where they are in terms of their health and how they can take action to improve their health. That's what I want to keep doing. We've got some workout recovery formulas, in the works. I've got a blood sugar formula because diabetes and blood sugar is
Yeah,
prevalent in our, so we're working on some new
that's
launches.
great. Well, I think that was very informative. I'm a big believer in this product. I've become a partner with MacroLife. It's the only product that I recommend to my clients. It's a staple in the supplement protocols that I give to people. I have it in my Amazon store as well. So I'm an advocate. I continue to share every day on my Instagram my morning protocol, and it's always with you guys. And that's how we became partners. I shared a story, and I think JR had seen the story, and we connected. And I said, "Man, this has been a big part of my life." And we jumped on a call, and so the chemistry was there, and we felt like, "Hey, this is be a good partnership." So, Dadbod Sculptors officially is a proud partner of MacroLife Naturals, and so we advocate. And I'm super grateful that you came on the show and shared this. It's super important and it's super informative for people to understand why these superfoods should be a staple in their diet and how it supports their overall goals. And it also makes people aware that acid reflux just isn't acid reflux. It is a domino effect when you have that. And there are ways to solve it outside of taking a pill. That pill is a Band-Aid, and that pill really doesn't solve anything other than short-term relief. And I could tell you 9 out of 10 people that have it, their solution is, oh, just take this pill, whatever over-the-counter pill or prescriptive pill it is, and you really don't have to do that. That is a Band-Aid, and this is actually this is the solution, right? This is going in and pulling out the core problem, sealing it up, and closing it for good. So I'm grateful that you guys are in my life. I'm grateful that I found you guys, and I'm super grateful that you came on the show and shared this story so that our viewers can learn and now hopefully start following you guys and start incorporating the products into their life.
Well, I'm very grateful, and I look forward to one day maybe doing one of your workouts and your protocol as well. Uh, Thank you so much for having me on the show. It's been wonderful, and I say to all of your listeners, now you can decide if you stay where you are in terms of your health, or you can take action today and do and place your order and add a little to your day, add a lot to your life. It makes such a difference in how you will feel.
100%. It starts with one decision, guys. It's really one decision. One product can be the starter of that decision. And by taking this one product and put it in your life and starting to make your brain and make a different wiring of why you're putting things in your body and how these can solve the bigger problem that you're addressing, it's a cascade. Like, it becomes an addicting process of going deeper into health and how there's natural foods and supplementations can be the solution. So these guys are leading the way, and they have been. They are the OG, as she likes to say, in the space. So thank you so much for coming on, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Thank you, Sylvia.
God bless. Look forward to it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.